Yo, what is poppin' Z Community cuties? Let's get this party started, Z Community. We're gonna be talking about the most debated topic of all time, which is, should you rent or buy the house that you're going to live in? So without further ado, let's get this party started. Alright, so some points that we're going to really be talking about today is why this is an argument in the first place. Then we're going to be comparing the cost between both options. And last but not least, we're going to be concluding which option would be best. Now, bro, the amount of people that have hardened their heads against this concept baffles me. It baffles me because people just think that, hey, since I pay $2,000 a month in rent and a mortgage is $2,000, I'm just going to end up buying a house instead. Or some of the arguments that they'll even say sometimes is, oh, I shouldn't be paying off my landlord's rent. Or some of the arguments that I even hear is, oh, why would I be paying somebody else's mortgage when I could just be paying my own? Yo, and if you're saying the former, my dude, like, you're kind of greedy. Think about it. You don't want to help people out. You just kind of want to help yourself. Kind of selfish and greedy, but yo, I'm not the one to judge. But nonetheless, let's actually compare both options of buying your own house to live in or renting the place you live in. So let's break this down. We have ownership and then we have rent. So let's just use simple numbers and, simple examples. So under a rent type of situation, you're paying $1,500 per month. It doesn't really change. Now let's just say that you decide to buy this exact same place that you live in and your mortgage is going to be $1,000. Why is there the difference? Because at the end of the day, the landlord is going to have to make some profit off of renting this property to you, which is why he's giving it to you for $1,500. We live in a capitalistic world, so get over it. People are going to make profits. You could be one of them too, but just listen until the end of the video. Now let's just say for this place that you're renting out, you're also responsible for paying your utilities, internet, and things of that nature. Adding those all up, let's just give it a random spitball of whatever, an extra $180. So that gives your total monthly cost $1,680 a month. Oh wait, you thought it ended there. Nah, B. Let's just say that a couple of months into the place, you find out that your sink stops working, your toilet's overflowing. What is going on? So what are you gonna do? Your first responder, you're gonna call your landlord or property manager, whatever the case is. You're gonna tell them about the situation. You're gonna come inspect it, fix it, and then leave. Does any money come out of your pocket? Now, unless you're the one who got super mad to the point where you're like, let me mess up this landlord's life. Chances are you're not gonna pay it. Chances are you're not gonna pay for those repairs or that maintenance. It's gonna be on the landlord at the end of the day. Now it ends there in terms of the renting process. You don't really have to pay for anything else on top of what we just discussed, aside from like home insurance, which is what, dude, like $8, $10, like something like. Now let's look at the flip side of this coin where you're the one who actually owns this house. You don't necessarily have to rent it because that's for another discussion, but we're talking about the type of situation where you live in the house that you just bought. Now fast forward over to tax season. Now we've already talked about the mortgage being $1,000 a month, so let's keep that in mind. But fast forward until, tax season comes along, and guess what? Your first expense is gonna come up with property tax. Now usually property taxes can average anywhere from 1% to 2% depending on what the government ends up telling you. Now let's just say that the house that you ended up buying costed you, I don't know, $1 million. Pretty realistic? I don't know, don't ask me. Now come tax season, and remember how we said property taxes would be anywhere from 1% to 2%. If we were to actually take 1% or 2% of $1 million, guess what? You're gonna have to dish out anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 just on property taxes. Oh, wait. It gets worse. Trust me. Let's just now divide this into whether you live in a condo or whether you live in a house. If you live in a condo, there's a surprise expense. It's called the maintenance fee. Now, if you live in a relatively new condo, this maintenance fee could be anywhere from $200 all the way to $400 a month. But if you live in an older condo per se, you could be paying anywhere around $900 to $1,000 plus. Yes, I am not joking. There are places out there that have maintenance fees that high. Now, you know what? Some people could say this is a fair cost per month because when it comes down to a house, you have to actually have your hands more in depth, which is completely fair because let's just say that you ended up buying a house instead of a condo. Now, you have to worry about so many different things. Bro, I could pull up Google right now and it's just going to end up telling me some scary stuff. Boom! Having your gutters cleaned, making sure your internal heating and water systems are running fine, pipes, mowing lawns. Dude, like this list just keeps going on more and more. But at the end of the day, now comparing this to the actual tenant or while you're renting a place to live in, do you know of any of these costs? No, because the landlord doesn't tell you or he doesn't pass that on to you. And if you have the mentality of, yo, like, why am I going to be paying someone else's mortgage off and why is he going to be making profits off me when I can do it myself? Well, guess what? Depending on the landlord, some of these guys aren't even breaking even, or most they're making is $100 per month because of all of these extra expenses that come out of the deal. Now let's make a conclusion over here, right? Is it better to buy the house that you live in, or is it better to rent the house that you live in? Now I'm pretty sure my case was strong over here, comparing the cost of home ownership along with renting the place that you live in. But at the end of the day, I would actually conclude that both are a pretty good option. And the reason I'm saying this is because what I would personally do and what I will personally be doing for my entire life. What I'll do is I'll rent the place that I live in, no problems, I'm chilling. But in the meantime, if I am going to be buying houses, I'm going to be renting them out to other people. Up to the point where, you know, one door adds up to 5 doors, adds up to 10 doors, etc. When it comes to the point where I have enough passive income from these real estate properties to then put into my own, then that's when I'll actually buy the house that I live in. Because if you think about it, it'll basically be considered free. But in the meantime, while I still am living in a place that I do rent, you know, trying to make sure that maximizing the income, decreasing the spending so that I can eventually come to the point where I can get 1, 5, 10, 25, 100 doors to then end up getting me to the point where I can buy a property for myself to live in. But Z Community Cuties, I love your opinions. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And thank you guys for liking and thank you guys for watching this video. It's your boy Aziz Finance signing out. Peace.